G'day guys, it's your old pal Nick here from the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel, and in today's video we are reviewing another close win by the Bulldogs, this time against the Collingwood Footy Club, round 12 at a packed Marvel Stadium on Saturday night footy. Let's get into it. The Bulldogs won by 4 points, 97 to 93, in what was another game that really tested the heart rate here. But we got the job done in a crucial clash that has a lot of weight on our season for both sides, and we got the 4 points by winning by 4 points. So it was very, very nice on the back of not just the usual standing up. We had some unsung heroes that stood up, mainly Will Lewis with his 3 goals, including the clutch goal, in the last quarter, late in the last quarter, and of course, Leo Barry 2.0. Michael Selwood's mark with a minute to go, in a big pack, a big intercepting mark, with a minute to go. Oh, amazing. But yeah, they were just some of the standouts from that, the win on Saturday night. We controlled for most of the game, but Collingwood, they never go away. And that's what I knew that heading in. I was just like, they're never going to go away. And even though we led majority of the stats, Collingwood just kept on, biting back, throughout the game, and it was frustrating but not surprising. So in the first half especially, we were really getting on top of Collingwood in clearances and inside 50s, and I was really pleased with that because I knew heading in, I was like, we have a clear advantage in that, and with having Tim English and Roy Lobb double rucking against Collingwood with Darcy Cameron and I guess a little bit of Dan McStay and Ned Long, so we had the clear advantage in the ruck, and it showed. And we had a clear advantage in the clearances, especially in the first half. And it was really good to see. It's just we weren't putting it on the scoreboard as much as I want to. It's not like we were inaccurate. We did miss a few gimmies, but it wasn't like we were missing everything every time we went inside 50. It's just Collingwood defended actually pretty well. And it was more of the case of Collingwood literally taking all their chances when they went inside 50. It was quite alarming how much Collingwood scored from their inside 50s, in the first half. They were scoring like 1 in every 2 times. Maybe even more than that. It wasn't great from our end, just we weren't making the most of opportunity, and Collingwood definitely were. So we were up by 17 points at halftime, and I wasn't annoyed with that. But I actually was a little annoyed with that because I was thinking, we could be up by more here. We are dominating them in the midfield, and we're dominating them in territory, but it's not really showing on the scoreboard. Which gives credit to Collingwood that their defence holding up, but also shows that the inability to put teams away, and that's why Collingwood stayed with us all night, because when they did get momentum, they really made a game of it in the second half, and we got scared to death there a lot in that second half. But at the end of the day, we managed to hold on and get the 4 points. I got to talk about some individuals, and first off, it's Ed Richards. Now, up until 3/4 time, he only had 12 disposals, and I was like, and only 2 in the third quarter. And I was like, come on, Ed, you're better than this, mate. And I was pretty annoyed with him at 3/4 time. I was like seeing the stat sheet and just like, he's been okay having those touches, but it's not enough touches for my liking. And boy, did he produce something special in the last quarter. And then some. He had 12 disposals and a goal, and was involved in basically all our scoring chains in that last quarter. And Bont was tagged out of the game in the last quarter by Ed Allen and Angus Anderson. So Ed Richards was the one standing up in the midfield, driving the ball forward with that penetrating left boot, getting clearances, getting meters gained, and leading us to scores, including kicking a very nice goal, from a free kick in the last quarter, which was a crucial goal at the time, because at the time Collingwood had just kicked a couple of goals to start the last quarter and were really charging. So that was a crucial goal he kicked. And yeah, Ed Richards was awesome, and that's what he can do. And once again, the last few weeks have shown that he is back to his 2025 All-Australian form. And that last quarter, was special to watch from my favourite redhead, Ed Richards. I got to talk about this man, because this man had one of the best moments by any Bulldog this year, and that's Michael Selwood's Leo Barry-esque intercept mark in the dying stages of a game in Collingwood's backline. Just, mate, what a mark. The courage to go up to that with so many players around it. And when that ball was floating in the air off the boot of Darcy Cameron, I was like, oh my God, we're going to give away a free kick, or it's going to be a great mark for Collingwood. But no, it was a great mark for us, Michael Selwood. And he pretty much won us the game and saved us. He pretty much saved the game for us, Michael Selwood. Just an absolutely fantastic mark in only his 12th game, mind you. That's pretty special stuff there, and it's just he's been the defender I've been wanting for years at this footy club. A really good intercepting defender that can play on talls and smalls and can take marks like that. And that's what he's been doing all year, and that was just the pinnacle of that. That was simply lovely. And in regards to Michael Selwood, with the stats, he's leading us in both intercepts and intercept marks this year. He's got 75 intercepts for the club and 21 intercept marks, the most by any Bulldog in both categories, which is pretty bloody impressive considering he's only played 12 games. So fair play to him. He has been so good for us, and seems like the competition is recognizing how pretty good Michael Selwood is, as a mature age pickup, playing in the waffle for Peel. And then we picked him in the mid-season draft last year, and he is one of only 8 or 9 players to play every game this year, and boy, I've loved all of them. So thank you, Michael Selwood. Thank you. Another individual I want to talk about, another unsung hero, is Will Lewis, our mature age key forward that we signed as an SSP, before the season started. And he was absolutely phenomenal on Saturday. 10 disposals, 3 goals too, kicking the most goals for us out of any individual. So it was really, really good, and he's been really good for us as a replacement for Sam Darcy. He's not going to fill in Sam Darcy's boots, obviously, but, he's been a very handy and necessary player for us to help Aaron Norton in the forward line. And boy, was that was emphasized a lot on Saturday night. He was fantastic, and he's a really good rage baiter. He is a really good rage baiter, almost on the Patrick Ross levels for the Dockers. He ducks a bit too much, although I didn't see much of him trying to duck for free kicks much on Saturday, which was good to see. But yeah, and I'm not surprised. Am I surprised he's doing this at AFL level? Yes, because even though he was fantastic for us as our main key forward for Footscray last year, in Footscray's triumph to winning the VFL Premiership, it's a big step up from VFL to AFL, and I've seen so many players from the Bulldogs, when they play really well at VFL, they're not the same at AFL level. But man, Will Lewis has adjusted to AFL so well, and he's just got good AFL traits about him. He's 27, so he's really mature, and he's come on pretty quickly, as expected. So yeah, I like what Will Lewis is doing, and hopefully he can continue that as Aaron Norton's sidekick for the rest of the year. The ability to win close games, that is something the Bulldogs couldn't freaking do last year. 2025, we had an amazing percentage, and when we beat teams last year, we really beat teams. We didn't play many close games last year, and we actually won maybe a couple of them, but most of the wins we got last year were absolutely smashing, so that's why we had the best percentage in the league, and that's why we're the highest scoring team. But unfortunately, against pretty much all the good sides last year, we couldn't win the close games, and our biggest loss was only 26, 27 points last year. Now, albeit a lot of those losses was us trimming the margin down from 40 to 50 points late in the last quarter, but still, there were games in there that we just couldn't clutch up in when the whips were cracking. This year, on the other hand, we got a terrible percentage because we're having much larger losses, and 5 of our 7 wins have been within a kick. The opening round win against Brisbane, the round 2 win against Adelaide, the Adelaide Oval, the Port Adelaide game a few weeks ago at the Adelaide Oval, and then obviously the last 2 weeks against Melbourne and Collingwood. 5 of our 7 wins within a goal, and it gets the heart rate pumping. It just drives my anxiety goes through the roof, but it's all worth it because we're winning these games, and we didn't win them last year, so that it's going to come in good stead, especially with a lot of the players that you don't expect to come, to clutch up in these wins, like Harvey Gallagher's point. He's a fringe player. He kicked that match-winning point for us against Port. Michael Selwood, of course, on the weekend, taking that courageous intercepting mark. He's played 12 games. And yes, the likes of your Marcus Pellies, Ed Richards, Bailey Dales, Aaron Nortons, they're helping in these close wins, but it's the lesser lights standing up in the bright lights, which is huge, for their confidence and morale going forward. So it is nice to win the close games, but I don't want to win the close games every week. I don't want every game that we play in to be close. I want to have a few games where I can relax in. But hey, that's the 2026 Bulldogs for you when it comes to winning. Final thoughts are, I'm happy we've won 2 games in a row. It felt like deja vu again. Just, how the game flowed. We were in control for most of the game in both games, but we allowed the opposition to come back into the game both times and made it a close encounter. But we were able to be on the right side of the scoreboard when it all counted at the end of both the Melbourne and Collingwood games. So it's always nice, but got a tougher game against Hawthorn on Friday night, another 6-day break, so it's not going to do great for some of the older players, and some of the players that might be carrying an injury. But thankfully, when it comes to injuries, we got no injuries from that game, which is, thank God. So no injuries from that game, which is very nice. We should be a bit healthier. We could have a potential inclusion that, that will make me very excited. But I'll talk about that in the Hawthorn preview in the next couple of days. So, yeah, I'm happy with the W and all the players that play. And I think every player on the ground for the Bulldogs played really well, which was really good. A really good, very good team effort. And it's going to be hard to drop players this week. I don't really know who comes out because there weren't really any players that deserved to be dropped because I thought everyone had a moment that was really good for them. So, anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, go you mighty Bulldogs. See you next time.